Story 1, I found videos of my fiancé cheating at her bachelorette party, completely shocked. My M33 saw videos of my fiancé, F29, cheating during her bachelorette party. I can't believe I'm involved in a story like this. I haven't actually talked to anyone about what happened, even though a lot of people are trying. I think I just need to vent a little bit before I talk to anyone. My girlfriend and I were together 4 years and we were engaged to be married. Last weekend she had her bachelorette party. I didn't have a problem with it, especially after what she told me was the plan. Her and some friends were going to rent an Airbnb or something, a big place with like 4 bedrooms, and they were just going to get trashed and party and hang out. The day of the party she was at my place, a 2-bedroom apartment, 1 room I use as a home office. I am a self-employed investor. She makes all of the arrangements and goes to meet her friends. We texted a little, but as the party warmed up we stopped and I figured they were just having fun. After midnight I start getting ready for bed and notice that the computer in my office isn't turned off. Rather, the black screen was just a screensaver. It turns out fiancé had not logged out and her messenger was still open on the computer. There was a group chat where her and the girls had been planning everything, and a lot of videos were uploaded to the chat. I was a little curious and I started watching some of the videos. Most of them were pretty innocent, just a group of 15 girls getting drunk and stone nad dancing and whatever. Then there was a video of a woman going to the front door and about 10 guys enter the apartment. I don't know they were and I didn't recognize anyone. There were a couple videos of the guys and girls dancing and drinking. And then the worst happened. A video started of my fiancé making out with a guy on the sofa. She stops and rolls over and starts making out with a second guy. Then there was a video of her and the 2 guys going into a bedroom. There was also a video for them coming out that according to the timestamps was 5 minutes later, but that doesn't mean anything. For all I know the videos were an hour apart and they were all just uploaded at the same time. Seeing all this was like a sledgehammer to the guy. I walked into the bathroom because I thought I would be sick. I wasn't but I feel like I paced back and forth in the apartment for about 30 minutes. Then I poured myself a rocks glass full of whiskey and chugged it down. I saved the videos and then made one of my own. Just a short little selfie video of me saying, "Hi, this is my name, your ex-fiancé. Just wanted to say I saw the videos from the party and the wedding is off. I hope it was worth it." I'm glad I saved the videos because in less than 10 minutes they were all deleted and my phone started blowing up, but I didn't answer any calls or texts. At first it was just my girlfriend texting saying she can explain and it's not what it looked like. Then her friends joined in. But I ignored everyone and didn't respond. Then suddenly I got a request for a video chat and I'll admit my curiosity got the better of me. I answered the call but didn't say anything. It was my fiancé sitting in front of the camera and she looked like she had been crying and the other friends just around her. I really only know maybe 4 of the friends, but I recognize a lot of the others. First she started apologizing but kept saying it wasn't what it looked like, it was just a party and the guys coming over was not planned or anything like that. She said it might have looked bad but nothing happened. When I didn't say anything, she just kept going on with more of the same and her friends backed her up. The more I didn't speak, the more hysterical she got. Eventually she admitted to kissing the 2 guys but dumped the blame on her friends who all took responsibility for that, which surprised me a little. She said the kisses didn't mean anything and that's all that happened. Then she seemed to remember the video of her going into the bedroom and she started screaming that it was just a joke and nothing happened. All the other women confirmed it was just a joke and that my fiancé had walked into the room and then turned around and walked out again. This just keeping going on and they just kept repeating themselves. Eventually everyone got quiet and all I said was, "Is there anything else to add?" She said no and I just ended the video call. I went onto social media and changed my relationship status to single and posted that the wedding was off and if anyone had bought a present they should feel free to return it. Fiancé saw the post and is freaking out even more and just keeps insisting that all she did was kiss and nothing else. I sent her a text saying if I suspect that her or any of her friends lie about what happened or try to make me the bad guy, then I will post all the videos online. Right now no one else knows what is happening. This was a couple days ago and everything for the wedding is cancelled and my fiancé just keeps pursuing me. Any advice on what I should do from here? Update. The update is pretty simple. Everything has been called off and cancelled. The wedding is officially not happening. I got the ring back and all of her stuff is moved out. She is staying with her parents for now. We did talk a little bit. It was mostly just her begging and apologizing and crying. She keeps insisting that all she did was kiss the guys. And she has never done anything like this before and she promises it will never happen again. Part of me really wanted to believe her, but the problem is that this incident puts our entire relationship in doubt. I think she may be telling the truth, but again the point is there is no way to know. If it is true that her friends pressured her to do it, then how can I believe they never did it before? We kept going around in circles because ultimately there is just no way I can be sure. She said she would do anything, including cutting off her friends and only ever drink around me. She really blasted her friends online, saying if the party had stuck to the original plan she would still be getting married, so maybe she already cut them off. All I can say is that at the moment I am single and I'm just going to live my life. Probably take some time to myself after getting out of a 4-year relationship. What's crazy is that a couple of her friends are also texting me just to talk. I haven't responded yet because, well, it's hard to trust them too. Story 2. My mum cheated on my dad. Long story short, a few nights ago my dad found my mum with another man. My younger sister, 16, was also present during the altercation. This guy is also her co-worker on her team. The night of, she also tried to protect him by not sharing any of his details to my dad. I just think she's so sneaky. I don't buy much of what she says anymore. I'm 21 and live out of town. When my sister called me crying, I flew home the next day, so here I am. My dad is a very old school, tough blue-collar worker. He would never fully show his emotions in front of us, but me being the oldest, he can only really talk to me, and my 2 sisters being younger, I need to hide how I'm feeling to be tough for them. My mum goes out with her friends drinking every weekend. She has more of a social life than me. I just hate how she's made my dad feel. I've never seen him like this. He would take a bullet for any one of us and is always there for us. To top it all off, he's got surgery tomorrow and a work exam this week. It's completely changed our family dynamic with us children being involved because my sister saw it too. So many questions from my younger sisters that I can't answer, and I do too have so many questions and have lost trust. She also has a drinking problem, and I didn't realize it until recently because it's been so normalized growing up. Am I wrong for being upset that they're going to stay together? There's just too much on the line for them to split, I think. Dad said to me, I will try and learn to live with it. It just breaks my heart. I'm trying to remind myself that they're adults, their relationship isn't my business, and just because she's unfaithful doesn't make her a bad mother, because she's obviously done a lot for me too. However, I'm honestly so angry I can't even look her in the eyes. I can't even talk to her about it. I've just been keeping it civil. I know it's fresh, maybe with time it will heal. But I've just cried nonstop pretty much since thinking about how much she's hurt my dad, and I hate her right now for it. She's changed so much the last year when I think about it. Not the mum that I remember. I also feel guilty leaving my sisters here as I'm stuck out of town for work. Any advice or support would be appreciated. Add-on, I forgot to mention, after the family found out, the next night was my dad's Christmas party. Now I went with him in support, and so glad I did. He's just so precious, and I see a different side to him when he's around work friends. Where was my mom? At a bar/restaurant with her girl work friends. I left at about 9 p.m.ish and my mum got there half an hour after. Pretty sure she was drinking since she didn't drive. You'd think she'd just cut it after the night before. She's so selfish at the moment. She's never been like this. My dad also rarely drinks, only ever 1 or 2, and he was drinking there. I don't think he got all that drunk. He's a solid guy, but Def had a good couple pints and way more than he would ever. But he's not in best health at the moment, and at about 12 a.m. I woke up at home to him throwing up. I just can't stress enough how hurt I feel. Story 3. Caught my now ex-wife cheating while I was in the Navy. I've never put this on paper before, and I've only ever discussed this with a few people. The fallout was bad, and it destroyed my career. I was a diver in the Navy in the early 90s. Yup, it's one of those. And I was married to, I'm going to call her Sharon, for about 8 years up to that point. Had 2 kids who I absolutely adored. We had problems like every married couple, and I had an idea she had cheated, but she was very clever, and I couldn't prove anything. So long story short, we lived on the side of a mountain overlooking the naval base, and our ship was going to do a run up the coast to another base as we had been in refit for a few months. We set sail about 10 a.m. and did some stuff in the bay while we tested our systems etc., and then headed for the other base. About 6 p.m. we had catastrophic steering failure, and we had to turn back using emergency steering, and a tug was sent to recover us and tow us back. We eventually came alongside about 8:30 p.m. Our captain said we could either stay on board or go home, so my mate, who lived a few roads down from me, said he'd give me a lift as I had run to work that morning. He dropped me at the start of my road and I walked to my place. I get there and there's a strange car on my verge. The house is pretty much in darkness as I walk to the front door. I look at our bedroom window and I see a bit of light through the curtain, so I know the side table light is on. It's red, as she used to have a scarf that covered it that we used to use when we had sex. So, alarm bells are going off at this stage. I open the door, and I immediately hear her. She was loud when she had sex. I grabbed the first item I could, which way my son's cricket bat, which is the only reason he is alive today, as if it had been an adult bat he would be dead. I walked into the room to see her getting pounded doggy by some dude. I clocked him with the bat in the head, grabbed him by the hair and dragged him down the passage to get him outside, where I started beating the shit out of him. My neighbors eventually came out and pulled me off, but by this stage he was badly hurt. Not going to lie, I did try and beat him to death. I got arrested by the military police and taken away. They were fantastic, by the way, didn't put me in a cell and treated me well, as they all had empathy with the situation. So what happened next? My ex was taken to her mom, who was babysitting the kids so she could bonk her sperm donor. I saw a magistrate in the morning and was sent home. I got charged by the civilian police with attempted murder and a few other things. I got a 5-year sentence for attempted murder, suspended for 3 years. I had to pay him about $5,000 in my currency, which was garnished from my pay. I had to pay his doctor's bills, which I never paid a cent to because fuck him. They stitched his ear and part of his scalp back on, but the biggest problem was his car insurance company. When I got back to my house the next day, it looked like a war zone, blood everywhere, broken windows, etc. His car was still there, and I found his keys and wallet. I took all his cash because fuck him, and then took his keys and drove his car to an area and pushed it down the mountain. I fought the insurance company for years but ultimately never gave them a blue cent. There's so much more that happened. I wish I could say we all lived happily ever after. But we didn't. We split up for about 3 months, and then the naval social workers got involved and pressured me to give her another chance, but that was doomed, as I not only didn't trust her, I actively disliked being anywhere near her. I tolerated her for about 2 years and then divorced her. Over the next few years, I pieced together what she did during our marriage, and it's an ugly and sordid story and probably a Reddit thread of its own. I have an amazing relationship with both my kids from my first marriage now, but for a long time their mom poisoned them against me. When my daughter was about 17, she sat me down and asked for my side of events, warts and all. Once we got that out of the way, our relationship grew to the point now that we are very close. My son was very young and didn't really know what was happening because I shielded them from her a lot, but sadly, they have learned what she is like over the years, and now they are both no contact with their mom. I'm M45, she's F44. She's been taking a lot of work trips lately, telling me she's been trying to make her hours. She's an attorney and year end is the end of calendar year. We have 2 kids, 12 and 9, and my mill lives with us. Last weekend she tells me at the last minute she has to take a trip to do an investigation, a town 2 HRS by car away, and my son and I were going to a tournament for his travel team anyway, so fine. Good planning. I thought she was going there and back in one day, leaving my 9 years old with her 75 years old mom. We both leave on Thursday. On Saturday, my 9 years old used the Ring doorbell and that alerts my phone. I answer it and he tells me the door is locked and grandma isn't answering and the dog got out. I try calling my wife and her mom and no answer for like 20 minutes. Finally he uses the side gate and gets back in the house to get his grandma to go find the dog. Thank God the dog is returned by a neighbor. I finally get a hold of my wife and she tells me she's still out of town working and she'll return tomorrow and pick us up at the airport. I hear a voice in the background and she abruptly leaves the call. Now my suspicion is very high. Sunday night, all at home, I notice she has the WhatsApp app on her phone. We never use it. It's odd. She works late that night and I don't get the courage to take her phone to check it. Monday night, she works late again, gotta make those hours. But this time I wait till she falls asleep at 2 a.m. and quietly take her phone to the bathroom. We know each other passwords and it's not uncommon to use each other's phones for things. I opened her phone and opened the app. In a hidden folder, or conversation on the app, I find thousands of back and forth daily messages and pictures to her lover. She had been traveling to meet up with him and have an affair. There's I love yous, I miss yous, sexting, pictures of kissing, a mention of a video, all kinds of crazy things. I'm shaking and after about 2 minutes of scrolling I take pictures of these conversations, about 10, before I start vomiting. I put her phone back. I'm blindsided. I never thought she would do this. She has never been cheated on or has cheated on anyone in any prior relationship. We've been married 15 years. She's pretty firm infidelity as a deal breaker and I've always been loyal. I left in the middle of the night and went to my office. I was too embarrassed and humiliated to stay and I didn't want to spend any money at a hotel. The next morning, she realizes I'm gone and the kids have overslept for school, etc. I texted her in the middle of the night that I'll always love her, but it's clear she doesn't love me back. She frantically texts and calls all morning and I ignore. Finally, I text her that I know she's having an affair and I need time and space to process. She doesn't stop calling me, texting me she's sorry, that she'll fix it, etc. I book at an extended stay, go home to get some clothes, and leave. I didn't plan on coming back anytime soon. Insult to injury. After 12 years of her living hernias after birth of our first child, she finally scheduled a mommy makeover surgery for this past Friday. This is painful surgery with tummy tuck, breast implants, lift etc. with 6-week recovery process. $30K is the cost. We're wiped out of savings basically, but I supported it. After a few days, knowing the surgery is coming up, we meet and I promise her I'll take care of her. There's really no other choice. Surgery goes fine and she's recovering this weekend. I'm helping her pee poop, clean wounds, take meds, assist with everything. It's so hard being near her and touching her. I'm sleeping in our kids' room. There's basically nowhere else to sleep. With meds, I'm finally able to get rest. 5 weeks after her surgery, we were all supposed to go to my son's hockey tournament and see my sister. She told me last week, before I found out about affair, that she can't go because she won't be fully healed. However, she was planning a trip to see her affair partner. It was one of the texts I saw on WhatsApp. Christmas is soon and usually such a joyous time for our family, and I'm absolutely devastated. She thinks we can work this out, but I don't think so. Sorry for the long story. This was very therapeutic. Ask me anything. I'm pretty lonely thinking about everything. Story 5. OP's girlfriend cheats on him with roommate. Apparently, this has been going on for a while. I've been dating her for over a year and I'll confess I'm not very good in bed, but I try. I love her and I thought our relationship was great. Then last night, I saw her fucking my roommate. My best friend who I thought I could count on. I'm socially awkward, so I don't have that many other friends, but I thought I didn't need any more so long as I had him. I saw them openly fucking each other in the living room. I couldn't help but stare in disbelief. Then I heard my roommate tell my girlfriend to keep it down so as not to wake me up. She responded by saying that I never heard them before, so this has clearly been going on a while. Now, as I said before, I'm not very good in the bedroom mainly cause of my small size. I've always been insecure about this. Seeing my girlfriend cheat on me has amplified this considerably. I don't know what to do. It won't be easy to find a new place to stay and get out of my lease. My family's abusive, so they're not an option. My few other friends are closer to my roommate than me and I wouldn't call them confidants of mine, and I've emotionally invested a lot into my girlfriend. She was my first one. I can't pretend I didn't see what I saw. But I don't know how I can get out of my apartment. And if I do, I'm going to be all alone. I'm already dealing with pain from being betrayed by the 2 people I thought Elle could trust and from my personal insecurities. I'm terrified at the prospect of being completely alone as well. Update 1, 7 days later. First of all, thanks to everyone. While there were some rather unpleasant responses, like the guy who called me a pussy for being upset, or the woman who messaged me to say that if I couldn't satisfy my girlfriend I should let better men do so because she deserved it, the overwhelming majority were kind and sympathetic. I couldn't respond to most because there were so many, but I assure you, you are appreciated. I talked to my landlord who was sympathetic and offered me another apartment if I continued paying my lease. It's an informal arrangement where I'm still legally residing and paying for my old apartment but staying in another. As expected, my now former friends took my old roommate's side and I've cut them out of my life. I'm not doing the best I could be mentally. I'm all alone and dealing with personal insecurities, loneliness and heartbreak. Still, at least I'm out of my earlier situation. I've taken a week off work and arranged to see a therapist. All in all, my situation isn't great, but it's unlikely to get worse and I'm working on improving it. Final update. Today. Things were rough at first, especially in that first month. Fortunately, I managed to find a good therapist to help me out. Since then, I've made a much more active effort to tackle my social awkwardness. It was definitely a learning curve, but I feel like I've made some real progress. Anyway, I've found a new apartment in another building. I've also tried to pursue some new hobbies to meet people and have some fun. It's worked out reasonably well and I have a few people who I've become pretty good friends with. No friendship group, so it's a bit of effort to maintain these friendships, but nothing too bad. I haven't dated since, but I think I'll try and get one soon. All in all, I think I'm past it. It was a dark time in my life, but in the end, I've realized I'm still young and have a lot ahead of me. I cannot express how grateful I am to everyone who has offered support. I know I haven't exactly been responsive to messages, but that's because there are too many for me to respond to. You all really helped give me the strength to get through this and I am beyond grateful. TL.er, doing a lot better thanks to some therapy and an active attempt to work on myself. Baru edit. This is a very insightful comment which I would recommend to read to anyone who suffers from low self-esteem and has trouble standing up for themselves. Story 6. My wife of 2 years is cheating on me today. I am 27, Found out my wife, F25, is cheating on me. As with all cheaters, she messed up. She left her second phone home when she left for work. I'm numb because I heard her phone go off and I assumed she had just left it and we were supposed to meet up for lunch later, but when I picked up her phone I saw a number I didn't recognize and the text on there said it all. It read, "I can't wait to see you tonight." Yeah, I know that maybe that's just a friend and this could just be a work phone, but my gut tells me otherwise. I've been thinking about it and she has been acting weird. She's been working long hours, she's been on 2 girls' trips this month, and she's been randomly called in to work on her days off. I don't know what to do. Her second phone has a lock on it, otherwise I'd open it and read the other texts. What do I do? Update. Thank you for all the comments. I just finished with lunch with her. I confronted her about the phone and the look of horror on her face broke what little hope I had left that she wasn't cheating on me. I gave her her phone and told her to open it and show me the text thread, and the messages date back to December. I asked her how long she's been cheating and she confessed. She broke down and started apologizing as I read the messages, which were like daggers straight to my heart. I asked her again how long, and apparently it's been happening our whole marriage. When I told her I don't think I could forgive her, she got mad and drove home, packed a suitcase and left. I'm sitting here on our bed with a mixture of sorrow, pain, and a desire to just wake up from this nightmare. I don't know where I went wrong. Why couldn't I be a better husband to her? I feel so lost and hopeless. She was my everything. Thank you for the support. Update 2. Wow, okay, so I didn't think this post would get any likes or support. Thank you so much for this. I appreciate all the comments and advice. So today I had the locks changed to the house. I called a divorce attorney to help me and I meet with him in a day, so hopefully he takes my case. I went through some of her messages and her friends' messages to me. Apparently she twisted the story to make it look like I cheated on her and she's the victim. Unfortunately for her, I took a picture of the text that said "I can't wait see you" and sent that to her family. IDK if that will do anything, but yeah. I feel insanely guilty every text I read from her. She called me about 40 times and left voicemails which I immediately deleted. With all the support and help from you guys, I feel like I can make it through this. Oh, also I did set a DRS appointment to get tested for STDs. Thank you for all support, I really appreciate it. Yesterday my world fell apart and you guys are helping me pick up the pieces. My family believes me and support me, and my friends support me too. I still have a lot of pain in me, but I feel like I can breathe a little better, and as some of you have mentioned that it can only get better from here. I hope this is the case because this hurt is one I never want to feel again. I'll keep you updated as it comes. My wife is cheating on me. Last update, June 18, 2023. A week or two ago I, M27, posted about how my ex-wife, F25, of 2 years was cheating on me our entire marriage. Ever since then my life has been in a downhill spiral and the hurt hurts too much. My race has been run, and, to quote Lord of the Rings, there are some things that time cannot mend. Some hurts that go too deep, that have taken hold. Bilbo once told me his part in this tale would end, that each of us must come and go in the telling. It's my time to go in the telling of life. I thank you again for all the wonderful comments. Thank you, and for last time goodbye. Update, thank you all of you. Like, thank you. I was on the couch with my gun in my hand, I was crying and IDKY, but I fell asleep. I woke up to my phone going off. I'm in the ER right now waiting to go to the mental health ward. You guys helped me with your love. Thank you is all I can say. I love you guys. Update 2. Thank you guys for all the love and support. I'm in the mental health unit now, and they allow me to have my phone for 20 minutes, so I wanted to give you an update. I've called my brother and he's going to my house to take and lock up my guns until I get through this. I'm going to be here for a week or two until the doctors feel like I'm not a danger to myself. Again, thank you for all your love and support, and know that you saved a life with all your loving comments. My wife of 2 years is cheating on me. Final update, the happier one, June 30th, 2023. Thank you Reddit. I, M27, almost made the worst decision 2 weeks ago. I almost committed suicide over my ex-wife, F25. I'm happy to report that I'm back from the hospital with more hope and peace than I've felt in a long time. I got out last week, and since then I finalized my divorce. My friend has moved in with me to help get me through this rough patch. Also, it turns out that my ex was cheating on me with a married coworker, and when she ran to him after she left, he chose his wife over her. I don't know them, otherwise I'd let his wife know about his infidelity. My ex is now living in a motel because her friends and family, after I sent them proof, have all but abandoned her. Life is looking up, and without your kind words and support I wouldn't be here. Thank you for saving my life. Now it's time for me to love it again. Story 7. My little brother, M3, is actually my fiance's, M25 kid. My fiancé, an M25, and myself, F24, have been together since we were 17-18 years old. Honestly, he was always kind, handsome, funny, and everyone used to say I was so lucky to have the whole package. I felt so lucky too. He always treated me with love and respect, so this makes everything just so shocking for me. I have always had a good relationship with my mom. It has always been her and I against the world. My dad died in an accident when I was little. We always joked we are the real-life Rory and Lorelai from Gilmore Girls. My mom dated guys on and off and they were usually cool but nothing really past the early stages. Around 4 years ago my mom told me she was pregnant, which was a huge surprise. My mom was around 42 years old and although she was sort of dating someone recently, didn't meet the guy but knew she went on dates, it still was a big shock. She never thought she could be pregnant at her age. She had me when she was super young, an oopsie, and I can tell she was stressed and worried. I decided to support her, since she has always supported me and tried to reassure her. She then had my brother who is now 3 years old. I have a close relationship with my brother. I have helped taking care of him since he was born, and I just love the little guy. My fiancé was also always helpful with my brother. We would take him out for ice cream, playground, pool time during summer, etc. But nothing was weird. He was just my then BF spending time with my brother and I. Now to the how I found out. My fiancé and I lived together since we finished college. My fiancé was not at home since he was hanging out with friends but I was home BC. I didn't feel like going out and just wanted to chill on my sofa. At some point during binge watching a series on Netflix, my laptop died and I was too lazy to go get my charger, so I just took my fiancé's iPad. I know the password but honestly never used it before. The iPad logged in and I got a bunch of messages pinging. I guess he hasn't used it in a while too. Anyways, this got my attention and I went to check it out and OFC I found everything. My mom's number wasn't under her name but I recognized the number and verified it with my phone. She was telling him she felt guilty and that I should know. He said he also felt guilty but couldn't lose me and they *tucked it up. She said that it was unfair for my brother to never not know his dad, and that if he could live having his son around not behaving like a dad but a brother-in-law. I broke down. What the actual F? There weren't a lot of older messages, just some photos stored of my brother as a newborn, my mom pregnant, and more photos of my brother growing up in an album. I couldn't anymore. I cried for what it seemed ages and I wait for my BF to come back home. I wish I was one of those women that can pretend and get things together before confronting the cheater but I can't. He came back later that night, around 23:30, and I just gave him the iPad with the conversation opened and saw his face completely go pale. I asked for an explanation, when? How? Why? And he didn't want to at first, but knew he had to. Apparently a few years back while I was traveling with some friends, girls trip, my fiancé and mom had dinner together. This isn't strange since he has been part of the family for so long. Sometimes mom and fiancé would eat together at our place even if I was busy with sports or out. I did the same with his parents. Somehow, unclear how since he couldn't explain it well, one thing led to another and they ended up sleeping together. They felt guilty but apparently not guilty enough BC, they slept together 2-3 more times, using the excuse of meeting up to discuss how to tell me. Apparently when my mom got pregnant they stopped sleeping together and decided to not tell me, since my fiancé loved me and couldn't lose me, and my mom didn't want to lose her daughter. So here we are now, with two of the most disgusting humans. I obviously broke the engagement, told my mom to never talk to me again and move in with a friend. I feel bad for my brother since I really love him, but I can't be around him now. I just can't. I feel like it would remind me of all those times we talked about having kids. I would be his baby mama, only baby mama. We talked about this future since we were 17 years old, so I want to puke every time I think how I was actually taking care of his child with someone else, while still having those dreams. I want to puke. Update. July 4th, 2024, 4 days later. First I want to thank everyone for the nice messages and comments. I was not expecting so much support. I'm still a mess, not gonna lie, but after reading the comments I felt better, like a therapy mini session, so again thank you all. To the update. As I was afraid, I was indeed confronted near my office this week. I knew this was coming but thought maybe I had more time. My ex was the person to come find me. Yesterday, Wednesday, after finishing work and walking to where my car was parked, my ex was sort of lingering, waiting around. I thought about running, not gonna lie, but I guess in the moment I felt strong enough to get over with it, instead of having that hanging above my head waiting to be approached again. He asked if we could talk and I said yes, but I didn't feel like having that conversation over coffee like we were old friends. It felt ridiculous, so I told him to just talk right there. We were in the streets, but somehow it wasn't crowded, but also not completely lonely. Felt right. He basically said sorry 100 times, and that I deserved better. I agreed. He said he did love me and that he still does, but he would understand why I wouldn't want anything to do with him. He said that if I did in fact consider giving him a chance, that he would go to therapy, alone or together or both, and that he would work hard to win my trust back. I told him it wasn't possible, there was too much damage. This sounds calm when I type it, but in the moment things came out more with louder tone and harsher words. Anyways, he did say that he is in the or will be, it was a bit of a blur, process of getting custody, partly, from my brother, and that he in fact does want to be a dad to him. He said he does not want to be together with my mom, that it was just a stupid mistake. Sure, BC 4-5 times mistake is just a random thing. He couldn't explain why he did it in the first place. I think he doesn't even know himself. I asked if he cheated with someone else before. He said no. Not sure if to believe it, but he sounded honest. I asked why he didn't come clean, and he said that after he did the deed he always felt panicked and it hits him that he could lose me and he just didn't want to. I told him it was meant to be found out. That what was his plan? To have my brother around and ignore their relationship forever? He said he didn't think far enough and that he was basically going with the idea one day at the time type of survival. I asked him if he felt that my mom seduced him. He said it was mutual, which made me want to puke again. I asked if he has any contact with my mom since I found out. He said yes, but mostly about my brother, didn't elaborate more, and I didn't press for more info on that. He said he told his parents the day before or the day before that not sure, Tuesday, about everything. The parents were not happy, but they are glad to start building now a relationship with my brother, their grandkid. Honestly, all of this felt like a punch in my stomach. I don't know why. The parents wanted to contact me, but he told them to wait till he approached me first, hence why he was here. I said if he started or thought about the custody before I found out, and he said no. But when I found out was like the push he needed. Great, seems I helped him get his shit together. And this past week he was arranging all of that mess, that's why he hasn't tried to see me before. He sounded and looked defeated, but the whole thing made me, besides sad, angry. I was mainly depressed before, but now I'm furious. I feel like he is still in an okay place and he isn't paying for his actions, beyond me leaving him. He will have my brother, his parents and others and move on with his life, while I lost everything. I hate him. We parted ways not on a happy note, and I told him to never get near me again. I was done. He asked me to see my brother still, that I was important to him, and tried to guilt trip me, and it worked, but I still think I can't. I don't know much about my mom and really hope she doesn't come find me anytime soon. BC, I'm fuming right now and won't be able to handle it. I will be contacting my family and friends and finally doing the blasting today. I think it's about time, and after my talk with him, I got the extra push I needed. Update 2, July 7th, 2024, 3 days from last post, 7 from OG post. Update. A lot has happened. I did the blasting, and this is how it went down. I first posted on my family's FB group we share. This is from my mom's family side. I used inspiration of what you all suggested in my last post and said something around the lines of, I want to communicate to you all that my wedding with X has been permanently cancelled, since I found out that my mom, name, and my ex, name, had in the last few years a sexual relationship which resulted in the birth of my little brother, name. I had no clue of any of this, and I found out about it last week. I won't have moving forward a relationship with, name, mom, and ex, name, for obvious reasons. I would appreciate your understanding, and I felt it was only fair to let you know of the situation. Since I value transparency and honesty above all. I also included a screenshot of my mother's message, what I said to her once I found out, and a message she managed to write back before I blocked her. Didn't open the message till before the blasting. I didn't want to hear her read her and be persuaded. It exploded. I had family reaching out via text and calling the whole day after the blasting. I would say most were very supportive, and I could tell they were just shocked. There were a few neutral and some suspicious that it wasn't the whole story and maybe I misunderstood. My grandparents were in the maybe you misunderstood category, which it wasn't surprising since my mom is super close to my grandparents, and like I said before, my mom was always a good mom. So no red flags. I will be moving with a cousin that is more like a sister to me. I haven't reached out to her previously. BC, I knew once she knows everyone would, that's why I went to my friend's place. My cousin is devastated on my behalf and offered I live with her and her 2 kids until I can get my feet on the ground. I accepted and will be moving next week. I'm a bit afraid this will give my mom an easier access to me, but I can't stay at my friend's place forever. I then proceeded quickly to post a similar message for my, we share most of our friends since high school and local university, friends on Instagram. I created a close friends story and tagged most of them too. This went sort of viral in our friend group. Actually, one of my friends sent me my Reddit post and asked if this was me. I confirmed. They were also shocked and speechless. They never thought my ex would even remotely do anything like this. They said he was crazy about you. Oh well. Apparently he went overboard on the crazy part. The group of friends is divided ATM, some are completely on my side, and some are thinking it isn't the whole truth. I told everyone that reached out that if they don't believe me to ask their friend if he is asking for custody of my little brother. That kinda shut them up for now. My ex deleted his social media apparently. Also, my ex's parents called me like I guessed they would. They were kind to me and were very sorry about everything. I got the feeling they are also overwhelmed and very disappointed. However, it was clear they will be supporting their son. They are very upset at my mother, and don't want anything to do with her, but not sure how that will work with my little brother and everything else. They tried to give me info about the custody and what is my ex up to now, but I shut that down quickly and told them I don't want any info, I want to move on. I also asked them to not reach out in the near future, that I needed distance, especially if they will be supporting my ex, he is living with his parents ATM. Also, my ex and my mother after the blast were going nuts trying to reach out to me. They tried calling my friend, who she blocked them, and reaching out from different numbers. I had to put my phone on silence and ignore everyone. However, my mother sent me a long text, from another number, and that was a weird text. She said that I was being cruel and that she didn't think she raised me that way. She said she thought we had a better relationship than me blasting out laundry like that without talking to her first. That I didn't have the whole picture. She did mention something that confused me. She said in her long-ass text, that the reason she slept with my ex, is because he reminded him of my dad. That it was grief. That she didn't mean to use him to heal her pain, but she wasn't strong enough. I don't even know what that means. Like, did she think that my ex looks physically like my dad? Or personality? Or what? I have seen photos of my dad and well, yeah, my ex isn't super different but also not super alike. I mean, they share brown dirty blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin, but that's not so uncommon. I don't see what else. I don't know. That threw me for a loop and honestly makes me want to confront my mom just to know what the hell. From all the things she could say, I was not expecting that. I'm holding on better, I don't cry every hour or want to murder them. But, I'm still sad and upset and it just feels like it isn't my life. That is a big joke or a bad dream and I will wake up to my normal life. I also need to really start planning my future and start applying for jobs in other cities. Or maybe check the possibilities abroad more seriously. I might ask for 2-3 days off work to really get my thought together and do some research. I'm terrified tbh. I feel frozen, but I know I need to start moving. New updates below here. Quick update, 02.08, August 2nd, 2024. My group of friends is divided. Some of his closest friends had been saying that I should give him another chance, then no one is perfect but he loves me, that he was always good to me and I shouldn't just turn my back on him. They even said that Max, little brother and I could be a perfect little family and that I could make sure that my little bro has a good stepmom, who better than his blood relative, right? This is so bullshit. They are talking like he messed up on something minor or even medium. Like he lied about getting laid off work, or like he forgot to pay our bills for a month, like WTF. I have some girlfriends that are complete on my side and supporting me, which is nice. But our group friend isn't solid anymore and everyone is taking sides. I did have a conversation with Max on the phone though. I admit I had a bit to drink that night since I was coming back from meeting some friends for dinner and I had a few glasses of wine and a cocktail. But I remember the talk. Disclaimer, this is not the exact conversation but I will put what I remember on the best of my abilities. Me, do you think that you were groomed? Max. I never thought of that. But maybe? Me. How did you even get a crush on my mom? I thought we always hung out in a group and my mom wasn't really there more than a few men and passing by. Was it looks? Max, yes and no. I thought she was pretty and therefore the teen crush, but I then also tried to talk to her by passing through your house and ask if you were there. He knew I wasn't, and then had a chat with your mom. Me, was I always second choice? Max, no you aren't now. Me, and back then, when you asked me to be your GF. Max, silence. Me, tell me the truth. Please Max, I don't know. I did like you, but I still had the crush. Me, do you want to be with her now? Max, God no. Me, Why did you do it, Max? Get her out of your system? So you still wanted her? Did you want her during the times we had sex? Max: No, don't, I only wanted you. I don't know. I felt like those YOLO moments. I thought I would give my teen self what he always wanted. I felt so stupid. Me: Then why did you do it more times? Max: I really don't know. We were silent a lot, and not long after we hung up. It was a short call, and honestly emotional. I was sort of drunkish, and he seemed emotionally drained too. I feel stupid for opening up and calling him and asking those questions. I said 1,000 times I don't want to know more, but I was weak. Every time I feel like moving on, I get hit again by everything. My brain can't understand yet. On my mom front, well, not a lot has happened. She continues to try to fix it. My grandparents reached out to me, but I didn't answer. I'm sure they were trying to give me support, so. Update 19.08. I'm moving. August 18th, 2024. 16 days from last post, 49 from OG post, 9 days ago. I'm moving to Spain. I got the job as an au pair near one of the biggest cities in Spain. I'm so excited. I'm flying in a few days and starting 01.09. Editor's note. Took me way too long to realize that the day is first, not the month, so this is September 1st. Curse my American-centered date standards and my dyslexia. With the family. The kids are adorable too. I will be learning Spanish too, which I always wanted to do anyways, so it all feels like heaven sent. I haven't told almost anyone about it, just a few friends I trust and of course my cousin who I live with. Also my boss. My mother has been telling people I'm being mean to her when she wants to fix everything. She made a mistake and is trying to fix it, but I'm being difficult. She is just human. Not surprising. I'm now really coming to terms on how self-centered she is and has always been. I'm sad I lost the mom I thought I had. Feels like if she died. My new therapist, yes, I got one the last week, yay, said I'm grieving. Max has left me a bit alone since the last call we had. I heard he is focusing on my little brother and just staying under the radar. I have had some short phone calls with my little brother, which has been bittersweet, but he is doing okay. He of course doesn't know what's really happening, but he is happy with having a new dad. It doesn't hurt as much as it did before, but still hurts. Story 8. I recorded my wife cheating on me and I can't stop watching it. A couple weeks ago I decided I wanted to surprise my wife with a kid-free night out. My parents live about an hour and a half away from us and I arranged for the kids to stay with them for the weekend. Usually, when I go to my parents I am gone until later in the evening. We spend all day there and leave around dinner time. This time, I was dropping the kids off and immediately going home so I could surprise my wife and we could go out as soon as possible. I had made reservations at a nice restaurant and was hoping to go to a few places for some drinks first. I left at 8:30 and was back in our housing plan before 12:30. As I pulled onto my street I saw a truck parked in front of my house. I did not recognize it. I assumed it was someone seeing the neighbors though, because it's not that unusual for someone to park in front of our house. I parked a few houses away thinking I would sneak into the house and surprise my wife instead of pulling in the driveway and going in the garage. I went in through a basement door. I was as quiet as possible, but as soon as I walked in I heard her making sounds from the floor above. When I first heard it I thought she was just by herself, maybe having some personal time. I didn't want to interrupt her privacy and embarrass her, so I was going to go back to my car and just go in the garage so she would know I was home. Then I heard a man's voice. I immediately felt sick. My heart felt like it was going to explode out of my chest. It is hard to describe how I felt in this moment. I decided to go upstairs. I had no desire to confront them, I just wanted to see what was going on. I moved slowly and quietly and went up the stairs. The door was halfway open. The kitchen was empty but I could tell they were in the living room. It was obvious what was going on at this point by the sounds. There was no way for me to look in the living room without them seeing me. I pulled out my phone and opened my camera app. I put my phone just around the corner of a wall. This part is so hard to write. I could see my wife with a man I didn't recognize. I won't go into detail on what they were doing, but I think you can figure it out. I started recording it. I was thinking that I needed a record of it for whatever I decided to do in the future. I just stood there in my kitchen, watching this all unfold on my phone screen. I felt like I could just scream at any moment, but for some reason I just froze completely. This went on for several minutes. She finally jumped off of him and made a comment about going to the bedroom and they went upstairs. She even made a comment about how much time they had left. I walked into the living room and found the guy's pants. I took his wallet out and took pictures of his driver's license. I know his name and his address now. I've never met him. I have no idea how my wife knows him. I left the house the same way I entered. I went back to my car and cried like the pathetic man I am. I decided to watch the video to make sure it recorded. I watched it all. I'll spare the details, but I sat in my car for at least half an hour. I couldn't drive to my parents and get the kids as I would have to explain why. I decided that I would pull in the driveway, open the garage, and just pretend like I was there to surprise her. I took my time getting into the house. I made a lot of noise. When I saw her, she was very flustered, asking me why I was home, etc. She was in a robe and said she was just getting ready for a bath. I told her about my plans and she seemed excited. She poured us both a glass of wine and said we should pregame before getting ready. I don't think I talked much really. She took me into the living room. I'm not proud of what I let happen. I could faintly see the guy sneaking downstairs and going to the basement stairs, but I didn't say or do anything. I just let my wife continue doing what she was doing to me. Since that day, I have watched the video of her repeatedly. I can't bring myself to make any decisions on what I should do next. She seems to know something is wrong with me because she's asked a few times if I'm okay. I feel worthless, and every time I hit a low point I watch that video again. I feel like I've watched it at least 10 times a day since I caught them. Update July 13, 2024, 10 days later. I don't know how to link my old post, sorry. I stopped watching the video after reading all the comments on my first post. It has helped clear my mind and allowed me to focus on next steps. This has allowed me to be mostly back to my normal self for both my kids and my job. I have gone through my wife's phone and found nothing. I searched the guy's name from the driver's license. I figured out how they met. He's a landscaper. She was calling some a few months ago to clean up our yard and ended up getting some mulching and cleanup done. I've driven past his house many times. I think he is single, as I couldn't find any records of other people living at that address. I've only seen a truck parked in the driveway when I've driven by. I've been avoiding my wife after the kids are in bed to try to limit one-on-one time. I don't want any awkward conversations, and I also don't want to have sex. I have mostly been successful with this, but did slip up one night when I had a little too much to drink. I hated myself for it the next day. I don't believe she has seen him since the day I caught them. I've been paying attention anytime she's gone. I obviously can't track her 100%. I've read about Apple AirTags, but I use Android. I'm guessing any app I would put on her phone may be discovered. I have installed a doorbell camera on our house though, so I can always see the street. When I did this, my wife didn't say anything. We continue to do things as a family as we normally would. I have done my best to not let her know what I know and to continue to be a good dad to my kids. The weird thing I'm dealing with now is that she's planned a night out with a friend for drinks. It's a friend from work, so I don't know her at all, and I'm not connected with this person on social media. When she told me, I made up some excuse about work and said I couldn't watch the kids. She ended up getting our neighbor to agree to babysit. Now I'm debating if I should follow her to really see if she's meeting her friend or the guy. It seems like I'm heading towards a confrontation either way when I just want everything to go back to normal. I'm going to leave my house soon and pretend to be going to work. I'll probably just go to a bar to kill time until I can drive by the place she's supposed to be going to. I'm filled with fucking dread about all of this. Update 2, July 20th, 2024. 7 days after first update. Update 2. I recorded my wife cheating on me and couldn't stop watching the video. I've had so many messages asking how I am doing that I felt I should probably post an update. On the night when she was going out with her friend, I still pretended I had work and left the house after the babysitter arrived. I went to a bar and had a few drinks. Then I drove over to the restaurant she said she was going to. I saw her car in the parking lot. I'm not going to lie, I was on edge and incredibly nervous despite the drinks earlier. I was so worried I would walk in and see her with that guy. I was hoping to sneak in and get a look without being seen, but that failed miserably. She saw me as soon as I walked in the door. She was with her friend and not the guy. We had the "what are you doing here, thought you were working" expected conversation. I told her work ended early, so I wanted to stop by to say hi since we had a babysitter. I left after a couple drinks and went home to relieve the sitter. So many of you have commented on my last post that I need to confront her, and I decided in that moment that I would. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I got the kids to bed and waited for her to come home. I watched the video again to remind myself of what happened. When she got home, she was surprised I was still up and apparently could tell from the way I looked that something was wrong. I poured it all out on her. It probably wasn't fair of me. I didn't even let her sit down. I told her everything. I played part of the video to show her what I saw. I called her some harsh names, said she ruined our lives. In that moment I was incredibly angry. She was very upset, heavily crying and shaking. She told me how terrible she felt about everything that happened. I told her she had to tell me everything that happened with that guy and she laid it all out. She cheated on me twice with him. After the time I saw them she cut things off because she knew it was wrong and she loves me. I asked her for proof but she said she had already deleted and blocked him on her phone, Facebook, and Instagram. She did tell me that he is single and knew she was married. She asked me to delete the video but I refused. She asked me why and I really didn't have a reason other than I feel I need to hold on to it for now. She got a little angry at that and asked if I was keeping it to watch again. It was very late at this point so we decided to go to bed and talk more the next day when we had more time to think. She continued to apologize repeatedly for what she did. We slept separately that night. Over the next few days things between us seemed better. I felt some relief that it was all out in the open now. We have continued to talk and it feels like we are on a path of staying together and moving past this. I have made it clear that she is never to see or talk to that guy again. While things feel like they are improving I am still struggling to trust her. Worse yet is that I have a trip coming up for work and I'll be gone for a few days. I've told her that I'm not comfortable with leaving right now but I can't skip this trip. My boss made it clear that I'm needed. She said I could put cameras up in the house to keep an eye on her if it would make me feel better. Sadly I may do that. I'll be gone for at least 3 days. Overall things are okay. Kids are oblivious that anything is going on and it seems that slowly my wife and I will eventually get back to normal. I hope so at least. I'm a little ashamed to admit that I have watched the video a few times since all of this. I'm thinking that I should probably delete it so it's gone from my life. I don't know what's wrong with me. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and hit that subscribe button to follow cheating love stories for more amazing videos. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.